The Marigold yacht has just set sail towards the ocean, with Midas's crew on it. And this update actually teases the fact that the Chapter 6 island might be closer than we think, which we'll get into in a moment. We do not know what Midas's plan is yet, besides finding somewhere bigger than our current island. Because Midas says this island is too small for his ambitions, but this is where the real questions come into play. Usually the water isn't actual water, and it is just an illusion the 0 Point plays. But if they're using the boat to escape the island, maybe the water is real this time. And maybe they are actually going to a new island. This leads us to wonder, is the 0 Point even here? Or is it even anywhere? After the Big Bang, we haven't even seen the 0 Point at all, and we don't even know if it exists anymore. If it does exist, maybe that's where Midas is going, and if it doesn't exist, maybe that's why there's no border, and that's why the water is real. But Midas is the least of our worries right now, because the focus of Fortnite Season 2 is that Zeus wants all mortals dead, but we are fighting back. We are trying to prove our innocence to Zeus, and we have some people on our side. Hope is on our side, Aphrodite is on our side, Poseidon is on our side, and the reason these people are on our side is because of Peely. And oh boy, is Peely more important than we thought. The Oracle says that Peely is the thing holding the omniverse together.
You should be glad Peely got this and not its intended recipient. You should know that Banana seems to be a linchpin holding together all of reality. Do with that information what you may.
This sounds crazy, like out of all people or things, Peely, but when we take a deeper look, it makes more sense. The omniverse would have collapsed by now if Peely wasn't here. Firstly, because of Season 9, Chapter 1, when the monster came to the island and Jonesy predicted the future, protecting everybody on the island. Supposedly, Peely gave him the ability to predict this. And in Chapter 3, when Peely saved the 7 mech from dying, if he didn't do these things, the 0 Point would have been in the wrong hands or even destroyed. And this continues to this day. Peely got kidnapped, which allowed Jones to work with Hope, which allowed Hope to tell the gods who we are, giving us protection from Zeus. And if the storyline continues how it's been going, he will save us again in the near future. So, Peely saved us again. Zeus has decided to push back our demise for now, thanks to the gods that are on his side. This next part is very interesting though, and sort of provides a backstory to what happened in Season OG's ending. Before I explain that, if you're enjoying, make sure to subscribe and use code PBJ. And don't forget that there's a huge secret at the end of this video. A new character named Nura showed up on the island. Her description says, mysterious storyteller Nura collects myths and ancient tales as if they were priceless antiques. She is curious about the gods, but even more curious about the nature of Pandora's box. But this isn't the important part. The important part is her dialogue. Her dialogue tells a few stories. If we ask about the hawk and the mouse, she says, one day a mouse was being hunted by a hawk. As it swooped down, claws outstretched, the clever mouse darted towards the lake's edge. The hawk, seeing its reflection, turned away. It did not want to compete for its food, and the clever mouse returned home safe and sound. This is itching to be explained. Obviously, this is some sort of metaphor. The hawk being the hunter, and the mouse being the hunted. And if you think to the story right now, who is a character being hunted, and who is a character hunting? You could say Zeus, but no. What I'm thinking is Hades and Midas. Midas was trapped in the underworld and he escaped, so Hades is coming after him. And guess where Midas went? He went straight to the water side where Hades can come, I guess see his reflection, and go away. And at the end of the story, where does it say the mouse went? Back home. What if Midas goes back home to Chapter 2, Season 2, where he originally came from? This is personally what I think happened. This is why Midas fled. This is what the story is talking about. If we ask about the endless stars, she says, eons ago and very far away, the stars blinked out, one by one, until there were only a few left. Then, a brilliant owl helped a clever fox chew a hole through the world, and that tear ripped open all of space, filling the vast emptiness with an eternity of new stars. This one is very interesting to me. It immediately makes me think of the Big Bang from Chapter OG, but the stars blinking out makes me think of the last reality. Because the last reality was destroying realities one by one until there was only one left. But when it mentions a brilliant owl and a clever fox, it makes me wonder who they are talking about. That tear ripped open all of space, filling the vast emptiness with an eternity of new stars. This makes me think of the Big Bang. The first thing we see is hundreds of new galaxies, which from a distance seem like stars. Maybe the owl and fox are Dr. Sloan and Jones. They both work together to go back in time to season OG, and the ripping open of all space sounds like the Big Bang's boom. So what do you guys think about this story? There is one more story she tells. The story of the moon and sun. And this story teases the fact that there might be a flip side to the Chapter 5 island. The moon and sun are playmates, taking chase after one another. It is said that if one ever slows, so does the other. Neither wants their game to end, ever. Something that might be more important is the fact that our island's code name is Helios, which means sun. I just came up with the greatest, almost confirmed theory that includes a flip side. This sounds insane, but hear me out. Chapter 5 has been extremely similar to Chapter 2. They both began right after the Chapter 1 live event, and they both introduced Midas in Season 2. And that is about all we had until I discovered the greatest secret of all time. The Chapter 5 island's name is Helios, the sun god in Greek mythology, and the new NPC mentions how the sun and the moon never see each other, and if one slows down, so does the other. Not very realistic compared to the actual way that the sun and moon work, because they usually cross paths, they're close together. But the way that they explain it in Fortnite is almost as if they were connected. And I was thinking, if Chapter 2 Island had a flip side, could this one too, since they are so similar? Maybe the flip side's island would be called Moon, since the way that they explain it is so similar. So I immediately looked up the Greek version of Moon, and would you look what I found? The name Selene, the Greek goddess or personification of the moon. When you look at the page about her, it mentions this specifically. Keep in mind, Chapter 2 Island was called Apollo, and the Chapter 3 Island's name was Artemis. Chapter 2 came first, and then Chapter 3 was revealed to be the flip side. In Greek mythology, straight from the Wikipedia, Selene, the moon goddess, was often identified with Artemis, much as her brother Helios was identified with Apollo. Helios is the island we are on right now, and Apollo was the Chapter 2 island. Very similar. Chapter 2 Apollo was connected to Chapter 3 Artemis. Going from this exact same logic and clues, Selene should be on the flip side of Helios, and should be the Chapter 6 island. Helios is Selene's brother, and Apollo is Artemis's brother. Artemis was on the underside of Apollo. Theoretically speaking, Selene should be on the underside of Helios. Sorry if I was soft-spoken here. It's 3 in the morning. Use code PBJ if you enjoyed, and subscribe.